Last week, Friday, 4 witnesses testified in the Madlenga Commission of Inquiry and raised serious allegations against head of IDEC advocate Andrea Johnson and the investigators. They alleged that Advocate Johnson defeated the ends of justice, and the IDEC investigators are accused of extortion, taking money from illegal immigrants. Another investigator has got a warrant of arrest. She was supposed to testify in the commission on Monday. Unfortunately, she couldn't because she had to be rushed to the hospital.
I really think it's high time Andrea Johnson in particular faces a fitness, an inquiry into her fitness. Prince,
maybe she will resign, Prince, because there were reports earlier this week that she is considering stepping down. And now, as you can hear from Kaiser Kganyago, who speaks on behalf of the NPA, the NDPP, Andy Motibi, has met one-on-one with Andrea Johnson. I'm sure that meeting yesterday was not just a normal meeting, given what's transpired so far. So I wonder what's going to be her next step. By the way, to be fair, also on Andrea Johnson, the producers are telling me that her sick note said up to and including the 15th. So when was the 15th? 15th was on Wednesday, ne? So that means the sick note must have been from the Monday to the Wednesday. But remember, the impression that was created at the commission was this person was so sick that she had to be rushed to hospital. Like, you are so sick that you have to be rushed to hospital. Oh, and then after the day when she was scheduled to appear, well, then she's now back at work. She's fine. I wish the commission had asked her to come today or even yesterday, because then the sick note was up to Wednesday, unless, of course, they were scheduling scheduling administrative issues that they couldn't resolve. But we need to hear from Andrea Johnson. And now that I've heard from Brian Padayachi, it makes sense why she suddenly got so sick that she had to be rushed to hospital on the day she was supposed to appear before the commission. Because how was she going to explain how she, as the leadership of the IDEC, said, go ahead, go charge the head of crime intelligence? How? Now from a senior investigator, we're learning of the many mistakes that were made, the many irregularities. She was going to struggle. And maybe it was strategic that I'm going to get sick, and then I'm going to push the senior investigator to go take questions so that by the time I come, most of those issues have been ventilated, but she must still come and deal with tipping off Firoz Khan, because that's a serious allegation that there was a complainant, an assault complaint against Firoz Khan. And when she was a senior investigator or prosecutor, she tipped him off before the police even approached Khan for his own statement. The same way that Padayachi yesterday told the commission that Firoz Khan had sight of the statement of Mukwele, the woman who is now charged with corruption, who worked at BMW. And they were asking Haibo, how could Firoz Khan have sight of this statement when he hasn't provided his own statement? You can't do that. And the fact that they had to explain that to him as a senior investigator just tells you the crisis that we are in.
This is what President Ramaphosa spokesperson Vincent Magwenya said when he responds to the question asked by the journalist.
Indeed, the developments that are transpiring at IDEC are a concern to the president. And the president is keeping an eye on those developments. At this stage, we've seen a lot of speculation around the head of IDEC potentially resigning and so on. Our view in that regard is that we're monitoring developments, and should the president reach a point where he activates some form of due process in response to the issues that are transpiring at IDEC, we will communicate that at an appropriate time.
The Umkhonto weSizwe Party has written the letter to National Director of Public Prosecutions, Minister of Justice, Chairperson of the Justice Portfolio Committee, and the President. The statement, it reads as follows. Urgent call for the immediate suspension of Advocate Andrea Johnson, head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, pending a formal inquiry into her fitness to hold office. 1. I write to you in my capacity as whip of the Umkhonto we Party's cluster on peace and security and as a member of the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Constitutional Development, on behalf of the official opposition. 2. This letter constitutes a formal call for the immediate suspension of Advocate Andrea Johnson as head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, pending a formal inquiry into her fitness to hold office. The ground for this call are set out below. A. The interference allegations before the Madlanga Commission. 3. Testimony before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has placed Advocate Johnson at the center of allegations that she interfered in the handling of a criminal investigation concerning suspended Crime Intelligence Major General Faraz Khan. Retired Hawks Colonel Cobus Roloffs testified that he was placed under ADV Johnson's supervision at IDEC, and that her position complicated his handling of a protected disclosure implicating her conduct. 4. Further evidence before the Commission indicates that Advocate Johnson sent Major General Khan the contents of an assault docket against him before his warning statement could be taken, conduct which reportedly prompted a Hawks investigation into her for interference and obstructing the course of justice. It has been disclosed that, as of May 2026, a prosecutor had already been assigned to determine whether charges should be brought against her. 5. These are matters of the gravest institutional concern. The head of IDEC occupies the single most sensitive anti-corruption post in the criminal justice system. Allegations that she compromised an investigation into a serving crime intelligence officer, in circumstances where that officer has since survived an apparent attempt on his life, cannot be allowed to stand unresolved while she continues to exercise the full powers of her office. B. The pattern of non-appearance before the Commission. 6. ADV Johnson has now failed on repeated occasions to appear before the Commission to answer these allegations, each time citing medical certificates that the Commission's own chairperson, Justice Mbayiseli Madlanga, has publicly described as useless for containing no verifiable information. This pattern has now delayed her testimony on the most serious allegations leveled against any IDEC official to date. 7. This pattern is not a private medical matter. It is a public credibility matter. A sitting head of a Chapter 9 adjacent investigative body cannot be permitted to indefinitely defer accountability to a commission established by the president himself, particularly where, as reported, the presidency has confirmed that the president was personally awaiting her testimony. C. The historical conflict of interest. 8. It has also been reported that ADV Johnson previously sat on an interview panel considering her own husband's employment during her tenure at the former Directorate of Special Operations. Whether or not this matter is the subject of a separate complaint, it forms part of a wider pattern that a fitness to hold office inquiry must be permitted to examine in full. D. The relief sought. 9. I accordingly call on you, as National Director of Public Prosecutions, to immediately suspend Advocate Andrea Johnson from her duties as head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, with full pay, pending the outcome of the processes set out below. 9.2. Institute or cause to be instituted a formal inquiry into Advocate Johnson's fitness to hold office, having regard to the evidence already led before the Madlanga Commission and the pending Hawks referral to the National Prosecuting Authority. And 9.3. Confirm to Parliament, in writing and within 7 days of this letter, what steps have been taken in response to it. 10. I emphasize that this call is made squarely in the interest of the integrity of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption and of the Madlanga Commission's work. No finding of guilt has yet been made against Advocate Johnson, and none is asserted here. Suspension pending inquiry is a precautionary and institutional safeguard, not a finding of wrongdoing. It exists precisely so that an office of this sensitivity is not compromised, in perception or in fact, while serious allegations against its head remain unresolved. 11. The Umkhonto we Party reserves the right to pursue further parliamentary and legal avenues, including formal questions to the executive and engagement through the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Constitutional Development, should this call not receive a substantive response. I look forward to your urgent attention to this matter. Yours faithfully, Mzwanele Mani.
I've also had quite a number of questions related to Advocate Andrea Johnson, the head of IDAC. In that regard, as you will know, the Advocate Johnson was not able to appear before the Commission this week because she took ill from Monday to Wednesday. I think it was the 13th to the 15th. As far as we are aware, she is no longer ill. There's no indication of that. And so I think you can expect that, and certainly, of course, the Commission needs to and wants to hear from her as soon as possible, hear her testimony and her responses to a whole range of serious issues. So you can expect an update on that in, I would say, the next few days. I can't really say much more than that, and the Commission is about to resume, so I'll leave it at that.